your best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's JD and the Rod, America's best soccer show, and we are live and in the flesh on a Wednesday evening. Boxy hair, big hair, whatever. I don't box out the way you do, Jared. I don't get
It's a tough time for your boy right now.
You know what it is? We were trying to figure it out, and I will take suggestions from our viewers on Twitch and YouTube and Twitter. You can find us in all those places. If you can see Jared Dubois' head right now, I'm taking suggestions for the fictional character, or it could be a real person, I guess. Somebody who Jared's hair reminds you of. I said Johnny Bravo earlier tonight. I mentioned him. I just came up with one. Is it Guile? Guile from Street Fighter 2?
I'm not going high enough up for that.
You think you need to like have a little bit more flip in the front?
It's definitely got to go up higher in the front. Like Giles doesn't really even, it barely crests to the side. It's more straight up.
You do have the widow's peak thing happening, which is
that's just receding hair. I don't think I've always had that. You know. I don't know. I've had this amount of receding hairline since I was 21, and it stopped.
Okay,
so I've been in a good place for a long time, but compared to a lot of friends I have.
I don't think my hairline has receded. I think my forehead has just always been this big. So I think I'm kind of.
We're gonna need some youth pictures to maybe on the Instagram to confirm this.
Back when I did the blonde thing and the dye job and used to just
wait. There's pictures of you with like blonde hair.
I don't know if there are pictures. That was one of those things, one of those viral do this thing because we're all bored things that happened this week. Everybody posting pictures of when they were 20. For what reason? Do you know why?
They're gonna say everyone dyed their hair.
Well, no. It was the whole thing was post a picture from when you were 20 years of age. And I didn't go digging for one. In fact,
I go to work too many days a week. I have no idea these things are going on.
Well, it's also this is also how old we are, Jared. That in order to find a picture of when I was 20, I would have to go find a picture and like scan it, take a picture of it. Like it doesn't exist.
I take many pictures of pictures.
Exactly.
And like you got to get that glossy shine just right so it doesn't reflect back at you.
Oh man, that's definitely an old person move for sure. For sure.
The only other thing to do is to take a whole bunch of pictures and ask someone, "Hey, go digitize these for me."
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, you get a scanner and you put them in a color scanner, and you do. That's the only.
I'm trying to do it myself. That's a lot of work, dude.
I'm not saying you should. I'm saying that if people want to see me when I was 20, that's what would have to happen. And honestly, I've never been great at saving.
I think you could go take a picture of yourself with blonde hair, and that would be worth it for all of us.
What I'm saying is, I don't know where any of those pictures would be. I don't have a lot of pictures bouncing around from when I was in my 20s for whatever reason.
You're saying if you sent a picture to your mom, she couldn't send you a tub? I mean, a message to your mom?
She's moved multiple times since I was in my 20s. I don't think she's holding on to that stuff
Destroyed
anymore.
all records of your existence?
She sent some things to me. You never know. You never know these days.
Black Sheep Davis.
Yeah, something like that. All right, we're live. We have phone lines. 717-727-2378. We are going to talk some wild rumors in the soccer sphere on this show because, we're all waiting for soccer to come back. We also have to talk about Jared's question for all of our besties right now. But I also have something else, Jared. So
yes.
Did you know U.S. Soccer is running a bracket competition, a bracket on the best jerseys in national team history? Have you seen this thing?
So they're doing a contest of their own self-fails?
Something like that. But this is both men's and women's. So this is everything. This isn't just like they're not splitting it. So for example, the 2014 away. Do you know what the 2014 away was? Can you off the top of your head name?
2014 away. So that was Brazil away. That's red and gray hoops?
No. Try again. One more shot at this.
Let's see.
It has a nickname because it looks like something.
Oh man, I'm not sure.
It's the bomb pop. That's the bomb pop.
That was away.
That was an away.
For some reason I was thinking that was home. Okay.
No, we always wear white. We always had white-ish. Boring. So the 2014 away against the 2003 home, and this is in this picture. It's a women's national team player wearing it. It's just a white kit with like some arrows, some like blue arrows.
Aren't the
pointing.
away kits always going to beat the home kits in every like matchup?
You would think so. We also have the 2006. Do you know the 2000? Okay, this doesn't say home or away.
Oh, I
Just-
own the. Oh wait, no, I own the 2006 jersey, the home jersey.
the Don't Tread jersey.
No, well that's no. I'm sorry. I have the home one where it has the gray vertical stripe down the left side.
Okay,
Oh, blue. Sorry, blue and gray.
Blue.
I think double stripe going down the left side.
did not make the bracket. That particular. I know which jersey you're talking about. That's
Mhm.
I think of Clint Dempsey in that jersey scoring
Yes.
in the World Cup. That's what I think of
Yes.
when I think of that
I
jersey.
believe our only goal in that World Cup.
Something like that. don't make it don't make it
Sing the dog.
so
Besides,
painful already.
Demarcus Beasley had one called back.
DeMarcus Beasley is in the picture wearing the jersey that we're talking about. So that's the Don't Tread 2019 women's national team.
Don't
home
tread
kit.
might win.
It might. No, actually, I don't think it's going to. And in fact, I think we actually already have some updates on who has moved out of the round of 16 because it's 16.
I know who people will think will win based off of the reaction. I think there's a wild fandom of the just straight hoops jersey.
Okay, that's the Waldo. Okay, and
Are they ranked? Are there rankings?
It doesn't seem like they're seated. It doesn't look like that. I don't know if there is seating involved, but they're not noted here in the bracket. You have the reason the Don't Tread's not going to move on, Jared, is because it's going up against the 2019 home women's national team kit that has the 4 stars.
Ooh,
No
that's a
chance
tough-
of moving on.
That's a tough. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Tough draw, right?
Mhm.
You also have the red with-
Failure on the person who made the bracket.
well, that's what I'm thinking. So look, none of the shirts with the sash are moving on. I have to look and see if I can find the updated.
I'm a
Voting.
fan of sash.
I
There's a
like
don't.
that.
Isn't there a don't tread sash?
That's the
Okay.
Don't Tread I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's the red shirt with the
Blue sash.
blue and white double stash, kind of two-tone sash. Then you have the Indivisible from 2011, which looks a lot like Don't Tread. but
And
it's just
you're
blue.
wearing the 2014 home.
This is one of the boring ones that I don't think made the rankings because nobody.
I
liked
picture
this one.
Bradley in that one that you're wearing right now.
Yeah, it was a Michael Bradley shirt in terms of memory. The 2019 away, that red one with the sublimated pattern on it, that one's here. The 2010 away, which is the blue with the
is
white
the denim kit in it?
The denim kit is not here. You
What?
do not have that. In
What?
fact, I don't know. You just don't have it here. It's
Then this thing crumple it up into a ball and throw it in the trash can right now. That bracket is bullshit.
well, I don't know. I have some favorites. I don't like the way this is lined up. I understand we're filling time here with this competition and with all these other things. All right, here we go. I do have the updated. Okay, so we've already moved through the round of 16 winners. You ready for winners? I'll give you just
Yeah.
real quick. You tell me what you think.
I'm just hoping the 94 jersey got a first round bye.
The 94 jersey is not here. That's what I'm telling you.
It's ridiculous.
Nostalgia is the only reason to throw it in here, though, right?
In retrospect, I think it's cooler than it gets credit for.
Okay, but it's cool in the.
Here's the thing: you've got 20 other jerseys in this thing that all look the same, or half of them look the same.
The white kits all pretty much
So
look the same.
denim kit. Only thing it's truly guilty of is being different.
All right, so the 2017 home, which is a Gold Cup kit, which is the hoops, but the red and blue hoops. You know what I'm talking
Okay.
about?
Yeah.
Jossie's Ortis wearing in this picture, up against the 2002 home. Do you remember that one? White.
I own that one.
You
That
own
has
that
the kind of like a chevron kind of like pattern under the armpits.
I'm gonna do it. Yes, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna give you the matchup. You tell me who you think.
That's the one the
will
other
win.
day I told you it breathes like Darth Vader with lung cancer.
It's amazing that they made the quarterfinals in that tournament. Considering that.
Yes.
Can you tell me which one you think should have won out of that pairing?
Well, I'm gonna say 2002 because I think it's iconic.
Okay, but they didn't. 2017
I'm
home.
not saying it's the
Gold
better
Cup.
jersey, but I think it should because I guess that's the hard thing. Are we being fashionistas here, or are we voting on what we have
Right.
like identification to?
Right. Are you connecting yourself to this shirt and saying, I care about that shirt? I think it's the better shirt because of nostalgia, because of where I was, or I own it, or whatever. Or does it look the best? Is it?
And
is
to be fair, I saw that jersey a lot at 2 a.m. with a beer through two on it.
Yeah, you were bombed over there watching in San Diego at the time, right? 2013 home, which is the Centennial kit, white with blue piping. That's literally the shirt. It's nothing else.
Can't
up
remember.
against the 2007 third kit in the Copa America. You remember that Copa America where we went down and took the B team?
That might be one of the only times we had a third kit.
That was a blue kit with white pinstripes.
Okay.
I picture Eddie Johnson playing Argentina in that shirt. If you want to,
This is some of the, I don't know. I guess there's fanboys out here that care about this stuff. It's a visual medium. You can't look at him. I'm not looking at him. I don't know.
Just trying to. Okay, I wanted to see what you thought. That's all.
I mean, what I think is that there's probably 5 I can name,
There's
and
5 that you can name.
and one of them's not even there. The denim kit.
You're right. And iconic in terms of what you think of when you think of the national team.
I think the 2010 home one, that's the Algeria goal kit. I think that's an iconic one. Once again, I equate with the moment.
I understand.
2019 women's.
Hold on a second before you move on. I got to give one of these right here. Get my boy Andres Cantor in the show. Go ahead.
2019 women's.
Okay.
The
World Cup in that.
Another just iconic. Listen, from 2003 to 2010, I probably can't name much of anything other than the Don't Tread kit.
Were you
but
drunk
I do. What's that?
Were you drunk that entire period?
Well, I don't know. It wasn't a very internet heavy like time period where you see as much stuff online as you do, where you're overwhelmed by visuals now as you surf soccer traffic.
I suppose. I think. Okay, go ahead.
And then 1990 is actually kind of iconic for me because it has the old crest in the middle of the damn jersey, like
nobody remembers that.
Almost like they're wearing a medallion in the middle of their chest.
Yeah. The old crest with the motion lines for the ball. What a terrible crest.
It's pretty bad, dude. It's pretty bad.
What a terrible.
So in the end, who's going to be standing in the end?
I don't know, but the Waldo one, Waldo is interesting to me. I'm a fan of the Waldo. I am upset that none of the sashes have made it through. I don't like, I'm okay with clean and white if I'm wearing it out myself, but on the field, I prefer something with an actual design to it. And this points us back to this fact, Jared, that why can't we have a damn look that we hold on to? Like you and I we've created personal styles. Everybody out there has the thing that they wear. Some people wear a hat. Some people wear ties everywhere, bow ties. They choose bow ties instead of regular ties for some reason. People, I wear skinny jeans and whatever. Why can't the United States have a look that identifies us?
I don't know, man. Maybe we're too much of a melting pot. We can't figure out what we all like. There's too many different things rolling around here. But all I know is that Nike's had 20 years to figure this out. And they still haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
Yet France can walk around here looking fly as F. You
right?
know?
Right.
How does France look so good all the time? How does Nigeria look so good every time?
Nigeria hired Matthew Wolf. That's why they look good this last time around. They hired that dude is a killer, just absolutely a wolf. You want to fix something? Get that guy.
Where does he live?
I don't know. The United States
in
of
America?
In America, he does.
I think in America.
He lives in America.
Why don't we just embrace being American a little bit, huh? Do something wild. Do something that's personal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't listen. I don't need Rockets red glare on my jersey or anything like that. But
wait, hold on. You don't want a shirt with the words to the national anthem like across in pinstripes up and down across the chest. You don't want that. You don't need that.
I think there should be one. Remember when that one team did the Burger King thing on Inside Out?
Yeah.
You should have the Statue of Liberty's crown on the inside of the shirt. You pull it over your head, and you look like the Statue of Liberty. And you put your arm up in the air.
I'm here for that. Absolutely, I'm here for that. Let's figure this out. Let's get
away stuff for free around here.
Yeah. Jared has a question for the people. Jared, what's your question here as we work through COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, I was just thinking the other day about I was getting nostalgic for some stuff that isn't around anymore, and also I was trying to actively find a piece of something that I couldn't find around my house, and I don't want to tell you what it is just yet because it's in my list. But I was thinking, for you and I, what are our top 5 soccer media that we either our favorites, we miss, you long for, that you wouldn't be the same in your soccer experience without? Whether that's a website you used to go to, your favorite podcast, us, all sorts of different kind of things.
You kind of are fishing a little bit, aren't you? With this, aren't you?
I left podcast out of the things when I put them out there on Twitter, okay? Because I didn't want to come off that way. But if it happens to be true, it happens to be true.
Okay.
But so I put together a list of my top 5 things that my just soccer experience wouldn't be the same without. And I have 2 honorable mentions as well. I have 2 honorable mentions. That
I get 7. You have 7 things
well,
already
I got top
identified?
5, and I've got 2 other ones. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about.
Okay, so I want to understand the parameters. Are we talking about American stuff only? Or are you kind of opening it up?
Whatever is right for you.
Whatever is right for
your
you.
soccer experience, whatever that soccer. If you're a Euro snob, throw in whatever it is that you need to. I don't know what's big for those people.
Soccer net, that was big.
Oh, that was, huh? Yeah. Who owned? Oh, yeah, I know who owned it. Yeah.
Well, it ended up getting bought by ESPN, obviously, but
Yeah,
before that,
eventually.
it was its own thing.
So,
what was the? Okay, sorry, go ahead. The
did you come
offside?
up with a list? Though, is what I'm asking.
Did I come up with a list? No, I figured I'd do it.
And I
on the
knew
fly.
you wouldn't. I hate you. I hate you so much.
No,
I hate
it's
you
not.
so
It
much.
wasn't
You
just-
had 2 hours notice. You will prep an entire framework of what we're gonna do for a show, and I won't look at it. So I do the same thing to you.
I was installing a door and baseboards today. I did doing all kinds of stuff in my house, which is a mess right now.
All
So I
things
didn't have,
that you have to do with no brain function, where you can't think in the back of your mind while you're doing this inane activity. Hey, what would I want to talk about?
well,
tonight?
I could. You want to go back and forth? We can do this because I can come up with 5. And,
Well,
and
I can start. How about this? I'll put my stuff out there. You can talk about it equates to you. If it reminds you of something that you want to put out there, go for it. Also, for anyone listening out there tonight, you don't need a top 5. If you got 1, you got 2, something you just want to talk about that's your top media that your soccer experience wouldn't be the same without. 717-727-BEST. Give us a call. Feel free to tweet us. Nick, I don't have the chat up. I don't know if you have the way to monitor it, if there's anything in the chat, but I'd appreciate it if you do. So I'll start with my honorable mentions.
okay. All right.
And
we're
one
working-
of these.
By the way,
one of
if I match on any things, I'm just going to ding on that. I'm going to, and I'll maybe expound on what.
yeah,
I'll
feel free to
add for it.
glom on to me.
Yeah, I'm 100%. It was what have I been doing for 8 years? Except that. Come on.
Careful, these coattails might lead you places you don't want to go.
Come on.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Go ahead.
All right, so the first one I have, and this is a deep cut.
Okay.
There's going to be a ton of people on this right now that are not going to know what the heck.
I like how you're going to bring
about.
up dead media that nobody can actually go and enjoy.
It doesn't matter if it's live or dead. What matters is that it was important to me because literally I would not be doing what I'm doing right now with you if this one thing wasn't out there. And I'll tell you that for a fact.
Okay.
And that was there used to be a column on MLSsoccer.net
Yep.
that was done probably around circa 2005.
MLS
Soccer.
net. It wasn't MLS soccer.
MLSsoccer.net.
Oh, it was soccer.net, not MLS soccer, just soccer.net. Yes, go ahead.
No, it was MLSsoccer.net. I think was the original website.
I don't think that's true. I think you're very wrong about that, but it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay. And that was it was a fictitious columnist. Excuse me.
I remember this. Did you?
A fictitious columnist named
remember this.
Tino Palace.
I think I remember this. Yeah. By the way,
Okay. And
do we know who wrote these?
I
articles?
do. I don't know if it's okay to say. I don't remember the guy's name now. I can find it, but
Oh,
I know
okay.
what he did and who he worked for, and I know what he's doing now. He actually works for a very big company now. I mean, who knows if anyone's working now? But this was now as of a couple of years ago. But he was actually working. I think he was a media guy for one of the teams. And
Okay.
so this is back when MLS Soccer, for some reason, they decided they wanted to have an anti-columnist. Like it was a fictitious thing, and I loved it because it was the one thing on the entire website that had personality. And Tino Palace's column, and for a long time, everyone thought it was Drew Carey. No one knew who it was.
Sure.
And people thought it was Drew Carey because he wrote as if he lived in California, and it was funny. It was a funny soccer take that came out every week, and it had almost nothing to do with the results and everything to do about everything else in the game. And that's what I love. He took the piss out of people. I mean, it was something that you wouldn't expect to find like today on the MLS Soccer vanilla website.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And for me, yeah, Tino Palace.
Uh-huh.
And for me, it was just like, wow, you can have a different voice than all the vanilla like box score recaps and still maybe find a way into this.
Yeah, a little spice rather than sort of these hot take things. And look, I mean, we're not necessarily against a hot take every now and then. Like maybe we throw some stuff
But
out.
so often it feels like hot take because there's someone has to have a take at all. You know, it's just like the hot
Yeah.
take for the courtesy of
Yeah,
having a hot take.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
look at me.
Yeah, I mean, I try to ride that line on my radio show. Jared, did you know I have a radio show?
What?
Okay, I'm just letting you know. All right, so Tino Palace circa 2005.
Yeah, I think
Jared
that's about
Dubois
where it was.
entry. Okay.
You might be able to find some of that stuff out there on the internet still.
I have a feeling I'm going to step on your territory a little bit here.
I'm sure
Okay?
you will at some points here.
Yeah, and if you want to take it away and be mad at me, fine, be mad at me. But I'm going to say I'm going to go first to SF, to Sean Francis and the offside rules. Like, how do you not talk about what he did? Because what Sean did, and I know there's a couple of things that he put up on his blog that he'd prefer he didn't, that he's, changed his mentality a little bit. He's more mature now. He made some jokes he shouldn't have made. But generally speaking, what was great about the offside
we
rules,
all.
well, that's true. He didn't really write a lot. Like, he wasn't expounding. No. He wasn't giving takes on the game. He wasn't talking about formation. He was just making soccer cool. Like, he was just doing it. It was a
unique voice.
No, what was the guy who made his name as a celebrity blogger? Like,
Paris Hilton.
Paris Hilton. He was like, it was sort of a Paris Hilton.
What SF was and is a tastemaker.
Yes, right. But what does that mean? Like, you say that like because you feel like you are one, so you want us to follow along.
No, it's a person that who has like that Midas touch, where like that he's only going to touch and expose you to things that are golden, and it was just that refined, curated content of what he would put out there. That was actually my number 3. That was my number 3 was Offsides Rules. Actually no longer current. I tried to go to it one time recently, and the blogspot is no longer out there.
Yeah, a lot of those blogs are dead. They're not even, you can't even find, or they're ghosts in a weird.
And I was considering Offside Rules and MLS Insider as one, so I didn't really get going.
But look, as much as I loved MLS Insider and what that was initially, I think the flavor was different enough.
It was corporate, but it was still him, and he was doing a good job. No one had done it at Fair Soccer before either.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you want to? Let's go to a caller. Let's get somebody in here.
Right on.
Yeah, I think Jim from Philly. Jim is identifying himself from Philly, but Jim lives in Oregon, right? We've established that. Jim?
Yeah.
Why are you claiming Philly?
Well, I'm in Oregon now.
Hold on. I want to pick at this scab a little bit, because you got Mr. West Coast over there, who will always claim. By the way, shaking yesterday or this morning, whatever that was, from the earthquake. However, everything's
about midnight last night. It was like right as Earth Day started. I was like, oh man, the planet's pissed.
I mean, Krakatoa's blowing up. You got earthquakes in LA. Who knows? The apocalypse is happening. But Mr. Best Coast over there talks up LA and the West Coast. And Jim, who moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, is still on this show claiming East Coast before he claims Oregon at this point. Come on, Jim. What's up?
I'm Philly till I die, man. I can't not,
I'm Philly till I move.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
all right.
cool.
So my top medias here would be. I only have 2 really. Big soccer boards. I mean, that was a big deal.
I got that as my number 4, dude. That's my number 4.
Yeah, and Sirius XM FC, man.
Oh wow.
I would be here. Listening to Jason back from Soccer Mornings, and it's basically a religion to me now. Listening to that, it's just something to listen to. Always hearing about the game, and keeping me up.
Now, when it comes to big soccer, I had to be really honest with myself, because if I'm being honest, it is a cesspool of terrible takes and horrible human beings, especially in the years from around 95 to 2005.
Yeah,
but I would also be remiss if I wasn't honest and said it was the only girl in town. And the content, there was 80% trash, but there's 20% that was absolute gold, including Dan Loney, who to this day I swear by.
Is Dan Loney still pumping out columns in Big Soccer? Like,
I don't know if he is or not. I know he's pumping out tweets.
Yeah, I see him on Twitter. I was going to say that it was Loney and Bill Archer, and I grew to loathe Bill Archer, and Archer had his own thing going on, and I don't know the real guy, I don't know whatever. But you had to go. Like something would happen with U.S. Soccer, or something happened with Major League Soccer, and you knew a day later one of those guys would have a takedown column just shredding whoever it was.
You just said Archer 3 times and didn't hit Danger Zone once.
Okay, that's fair.
Danger Zone.
Or this one.
Duh and or hello.
Or this one.
I wouldn't be caught dead in a sweater vest.
All right, it's tripled up for you. Go ahead.
So Jim, Big Soccer. What was your sub forum of choice? What's the one that was bookmarked for you?
This is getting a little.
No, this says a lot about a person as a
Okay,
soccer
I'm
fan.
just
Because
saying.
here's the thing: I don't think anyone like had Big Soccer's homepage as their bookmark. You always had a sub forum, which is the one that you really cared
entry
about.
point. Your entry point.
Am I right, Jim?
Yeah, I was basically just in the Union sub board, or Sons of Ben. We had stuff like that, but there was nothing too crazy. That I kind of got introduced into it late in the game, but you know, I followed that, and you know, there was a little Celtic stuff on there, but there's nothing crazy, man.
All right. Those are two good
I'm
shouts.
not a big Reddit guy or anything like that, so I'm not a big
It was
I
Reddit
don't go
before
through the
Reddit,
depths of
man.
the internet there.
It was Reddit. It was Reddit for soccer fans before Reddit existed, and now I don't know. Big Soccer's it's a weird place. It still is, even now.
It's still around.
I'm pretty sure it's still out there. I have not. I can't tell you last time I navigated my way to Big
I don't
Soccer.
think my browser lets me go.
Did you know that they had like a whole network after the success of Big Soccer? They had like Big Lacrosse and Big Rugby and all
All
these
the big sports.
Yep.
I remember here. Speaking of the memory lane here, when we relaunched NASN as Backheel,
Mm-hmm.
I did an oral history kind of piece for the backheel.com website where I talked to all these people who were sort of on the scene when soccer blew up on the internet. And when the internet became like the underground home of soccer because we didn't have anywhere else to go. There was no mainstream media coverage. So Big Soccer got a mention and a couple other things that might come up got mentioned as that as well. But I remember talking to the guy who founded Big Soccer, and I can't remember his name right now. He went on to work at Squarespace. He was running Squarespace when I talked to him. Yeah.
Oh, right on, man. We're from round balls to square pegs. All right.
Appreciate the call, Jim. Got anything else?
Yeah. One more thing I'd ask you. I'm sure you guys are going to touch on this, but the combined Liga MX MLS rumors, you going to touch on that at all?
So this guy Alejandro Iraragorri, who owns two teams in Mexico, Jared,
Well done.
was on the record, said through some tweets. He said, I think the best thing for both leagues, and he said Mexico in the long term because we don't make as much money as MLS or we don't bring in as much revenue.
Isn't that crazy?
I know that's mad. And Major League Soccer in the medium term, although I think it's questionable whether long term it makes sense for MLS, is to combine the leagues. What does that mean? Like I'm thinking this is kind of like, you know, do you put a yeah, I don't know. You like one of those mad scientists that put like a chicken
I
head
can't
on
listen.
top
If we
of-
can't figure out the logistics of a winter schedule, how are we going to figure out the logistics of a 0 to whatever 180 latitude league is going to be? You know,
Well,
like
you got okay. So Mexico right now runs two tournaments: the Apertura de Clausura. They suspended Pro Rel, Jared. This is kind of part of why this is all coming up.
no, they're saying it's temporary though, right?
Well, they said 5 years. That's going to become permanent. There's no way they're going to go back on that after
That's
5
some
years.
balls, though, dude. That is some brass balls.
You know, I think people overstate how much Mexicans care about that stuff. I don't think
No,
they
but
care.
who are the teams that went down just now? Like for them? Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, there's some of that, but there's also the fact that Mexico, especially at the bottom end of the Liga MX standings, at the top of the Ascenso standings, or in the Ascenso period, has a bunch of shady ass owners. Who
I
don't
think they
pay their
missed an
players.
opportunity, though, Jay. They missed an opportunity. If you said, "Hey, 2 years from now, we're going to suspend relegation, promotion relegation," imagine the battle in the transfer market on the field. They imagine the battle at hand.
But
with
they're not thinking about. They don't care about that. That's not what they're selling. They want to know for sure that Chivas and Club America and Monterrey and Tigres and Santos and Pumas are all going to be in the top flight. Period. End of story. No question.
So basically, they got an organization of the chips that they liked, so they froze it.
Well, yeah, but they also have, because they have so many dodgy ownership groups, because stuff gets so shady.
And you
with
feel that those owners want that connection enough with the American game that it's worth it?
No, I think they have big dollar signs in their eyes, and they know that a lot of their money does come out of the United States. I mean, they already know that a significant portion of the cash that they make in a given year, the television contracts, whatever, comes from the American market. So why not tie directly?
Let me ask you a question. If the U.S. Okay, if this happens, the MLS, Liga MX, they combine, Super League, whatever, are the MLS soccer-specific stadiums that we've built too small?
No, I mean, for when Club America comes anywhere.
You don't
yeah.
think 27,000 seats at the Home Depot? I mean, I'm
No,
not
no,
calling Home Depot
but,
Center still.
Yes,
In
well,
LA is not too small
No,
when
no,
you
no.
have Mexican teams.
it is. I think if Veracruz come, I don't know who actually if they're in the top flight. If Atlas
Leon.
comes in, if Leon comes in,
Or Zolos or something.
those games can happen at the Home Depot, Dignity Sports Health Bank Park Stadium, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But if it's LA Galaxy versus Club America, where's that game taking place, Jared?
Oh, it's Coliseum or
The
Rose
Coliseum, the Rose Bowl. It's not happening.
Well, what'll end up
Rose Bowl.
happening is that the Coliseum is already kind of linked to LAFC anyway, because you could throw a stone and hit each other.
Well, but
And-
also you have the new football stadium too, because that's
Yeah,
that's
and
right
then-
there.
Galaxy are already linked to the Rose Bowl through history. So you would have these two satellite big stadiums like Papa stadiums and Kitty stadiums that you would go back and forth to when these games happen. San Jose already does it as well. When they play the Galaxy, they play in
Stanford.
yeah.
San Francisco. But you're already conceiving of how this might work, Jared, and that's exactly what they want. They want to be able to put 100,000 people in the Rose Bowl to see the whatever you would call that. Suddenly, that's a
Okay, but
rival.
here's the thing: if we're gonna do this, we just went to almost how many teams do we have right now?
We have they're going to get to 30. They're already.
Okay, if you're
they're
at
already
30,
hooked up to 30.
and Mexico has what right now? 20.
It would put it
something?
at 48, I think they were saying. It would
What
put it at
the
48 or
heck?
46 teams.
You got to make promotion relegation within this Super League.
No, I don't think you do. What you have to do is split into conferences and play within your conferences because I don't think you can fill up a schedule playing everybody.
How do you do that with the east side of the United States?
Well, no. Again, logistically, this is a friggin' nightmare for a lot of reasons. One of them being the number of teams.
And then Canada in there too.
Well, you got Canada in the mix too, but so it's a NAFTA league.
No one thinks
all
about
that or whatever. We got rid of NAFTA, right? What do we have now? I don't know if we have anything.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say is, my question is, you can't have it. The Mexican teams play a regular season, and the MLS teams play a regular season, and then you have combined playoffs. That's not a league. That's some weird cup tournament that doesn't actually do anything. It would have to be league play against one another. Which again, how do you figure that out? How do you make that
Here's
work?
a bigger question for you: who is the Big Six
Ooh.
in a Liga MX and MLS combined? Because
Okay.
it seems to me that this is a decision you make to make 6 very key teams popular.
Okay. I think well, it's America. It's America. It's Guadalajara. Definitely those two right off the bat.
Yep.
Then you might get to do you go Tigres? Do you go Monterrey? Do you go right now those are the best teams. Santos Laguna.
Here's the thing: those are I think it's those two, the two LAs.
The two LAs right after Club America and
No,
Guadalajara.
I'm not asking you about success. I'm talking about who are the
No,
Big Six.
I know. I'm saying like the size of the club.
I don't know if ranking wise, but they're probably 5 and 6 to be honest.
Who they would
with you.
want to make, who they would want to promote.
This
the
is
most.
a league that's going to be built around 6
Atlanta
teams.
and Seattle.
No.
No, I don't really think so. I don't think so.
Okay. It is. I think Atlanta. Yes, I can see Atlanta. Okay. America, Guadalajara.
But here's the thing: they're not making these
Atlanta.
decisions thinking about Atlanta, Jason, because you're not thinking about any East Coast team if you're making this decision. You're thinking, how do you make Mexico and the West Coast work? That's what this is about.
No, I mean, look, MLS teams play each other across the country right now, so that happens. You would obviously be kind of stuck with, how many of those trips you can make. I mean, you really don't want Montreal going to Tijuana if you can help it. But is that different than Portland or Vancouver going to Miami? Like, is it really
I
that?
think you were in the right neighborhood when it's Club America, Guadalajara, and then pick any 2 of those 4 you named. Honestly, year to year, any 4 of those 2 that you named, because they are more susceptible to form. Whereas America and Chivas, no matter who, they could put out a 8th place season, a 10th place season, and they're still the most popular team in Mexico.
That's why they're at the top.
And then you have the 2 LAs.
But I don't. Okay, no offense to LAFC, they still got work to do on that front. Okay,
They're going to sell jerseys.
no, they
They're
are.
going to sell
They are.
massive tickets.
Where does Miami fit into this? By the way, where does Miami work?
I'm actually better than some of them, to be honest with you. It's an easier flight or getting over there. But what I'm saying though is that if
Oh,
Club
maybe the size of the
America,
club, like Miami's not done a damn thing because they can't play games. But who
Club
knows?
America goes to, let's say Club America goes to Columbus.
Uh-huh.
There's not 100,000 seat venue that's going to sell out 100,000 seats in Ohio for Club America and for Chivas. The revenue differential over time for LA and LA selling out the Rose Bowl, selling out the Coliseum for games that mean something. They do 60,000, 70,000 in games that mean nothing.
I know. But okay.
That revenue is going to be a difference maker over time.
You're not playing Chivas or Club America every single week. You're not. Sometimes you're playing Tijuana. Sometimes you're playing
100,000 seats. That's 3 sellouts, 4 sellouts in a lot of these stadiums right now.
I understand. Well, they're not going to say no to that because it's not parity of money. Come on. They're not going to do that. I mean, Columbus just had to find a different way to compete. That's the way that it should work, right?
I think you're going to see a bigger differential between the top and the bottom in MLS if this goes through.
But why is that a bad thing? Is that what we're saying? We don't want that?
It's just opposite of what we've always said we were going to do. So it's a change.
Let me ask you, because you're a fan of a big club and you are never satisfied, Jared. I mean, I don't know. I haven't asked your wife, but you're never satisfied.
Also true.
When it comes to when it comes to the way your team is playing, unless they're winning a championship. But you also have that ace in the back pocket, which is, Anchance will break out the checkbook if he needs to and go spend some money. But never always be happy about how he spends it, but you have that ability. Meanwhile, Nicky Soup and Sausage is over here rooting for a brand new MLS team that has stunk it up. They got a great fan base, but they're playing in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the Lindners are not going to drop buckets full of money on this team.
Let's ask Nicky Soup and Sausage then. How do you feel? Is it going to be rich get richer kind of environment, or do you embrace the challenge?
You feel about being a fan of your team, Nick?
It doesn't change how I feel about the team. I also think that FC Cincinnati gets a raw deal here because I do feel like they are willing to spend money. I mean, they spent a lot of money on Jurgen Locadia. He's only played 2 games. That was a lot of money. That was a lot of money.
I know your girlfriend is pretty too. I'm saying that you will, as Jared has outlined, when the LA Galaxy play games against Mexican club, now they can't do every one of them. They've got to play some games at Dignity Health Sports Bank Park, Home Depot Center Stadium. But every now and then, they're going to be able to have a big day out at the Rose Bowl, at the Coliseum, at the new NFL joint, and they're going to clean up. And if the league decides, all right, we're taking the shackles off, because that's the other thing, Jared.
You have to.
How can you have a salary cap?
You can't have 2 sets of rules for 2 different countries.
I do think the Mexican league would be more amenable to a salary cap than MLS saying no and dropping.
Are there Players Association going to be like, come on?
No, but they may find, they may say, well, our cap is, we have a soft cap up to $8 million and you can spend more than that or something like that. Okay. Some middle ground where everybody be okay. I don't know that FC Cincinnati will have the revenue to justify spending to those levels. And that's what I'm asking Nick. Yes, Jurgen Locadia is a nice signing in the MLS context of 2020, Nick, but let's talk about 10 years from now. The NAFTA league is blowing up. And are your boys going to be able to compete? If you go into 2033 and you really don't have a chance to compete with the 6 teams we just talked about, how do you feel?
That's a good question. I think especially for teams in smaller markets, what you'll see is you're going to get a lot more ownership opportunities, right? More minority opportunities to become an investor in these clubs. You might not have full ownership, but
sponsorship.
There's sponsorship. You're going to get money from that, but you're going to get people that have money that want to get involved. There's a finite amount of teams in Major League Soccer. Some of these ownership groups are going to say, yeah, come on board. We'll take your $1 million. That already happened in Cincinnati this year.
Sure. Okay. I mean, I do think if you keep playoffs in place and you don't let everybody spend whatever they want, you will keep some reins on the league in terms of the wild disparity in talent, and therefore nobody can win the league except for 6 teams. However, we have a league that is kind of always been built on this idea that anybody can win the league, Jared. So is that enough, right? Is that,
the other thing I wonder is that how much of this last off season is forcing Mexico's hand? You watched Pulido, Chicharito, Pizarro. You're 2 years removed from Vela.
They're scared.
You're watching the premier Mexican players choose MLS over and over again over their domestic league. This
is not, okay. There's some individual things you can talk about with those players, okay? But you're right for the most part, and I do think it's going to happen. The Rodolfo Pizarro is a good example of a player who had options, somewhere else, could have stayed in Mexico. Monterrey did not want to sell him, and he ends up in MLS. And this is not boosterism, because I think it's pretty obvious that we're trending in this direction. And I know until they beat them in the Champions League, you can't say anything. But Jared, if you had to say how many years until Major League Soccer is clearly, and I don't mean like we can debate it, like clearly better than Mexico in terms of the quality of play. And look, there's a wide range of teams, so it's kind of a subjective thing. But how long until the league is clearly better than Mexico?
I think 10 more years.
10. 10's a good number.
I mean, that's about. I think. And here's the thing: if a good run,
Nick is on drugs. He said 3. I don't know what's.
I think a good run in a World Cup or two between now and then accelerates that as well.
Okay, but
I think because as those players, if American players, if the USA has a good World Cup run, it lifts the level and the visibility of the whole league. The signings that happen that come out of that, it just throws more money into the league as well. And you're just watching over and over again bigger names coming to MLS than Liga MX.
Yeah,
sponsorship opportunities are going to grow. I mean,
the problem is for Mexico. The problem is that they're basically at their ceiling. There's not really room for growth, right? They're already a really strong league. They're probably the best league in the Americas. You could argue when Brazil's having a good season and they've got
Argentina can figure out their money situation.
Well, but Argentina doesn't have money, so that's why they're not. But so Mexico's probably the best league in the Americas. But they have maxed out, or they are close to maxing out, whereas Major League Soccer is not even remotely close to maxing. That doesn't mean MLS is going to do everything.
We might be. I think the top teams in Brazil are probably better than the teams in Mexico. But after that, it's a steep drop.
Right at the top end of Brazil, right? You're right. But at in terms of the top to bottom, or the popularity of the league, the money that they bring in,
infrastructure for the teams is just way too chaotic.
Yeah, Mexico is the best in the Americas, but that they have already seen the writing on the wall that they're not going to be able to hold on to that. Jared, before we go back to another actual soccer topic that's happening now, what were you on, number 3? We were on number 3, or was it my turn at this point?
Well, I only given one of my honorable mentions. I'm going to do a fast other honorable mention.
Okay, because we are quickly burning through the show. So once
it might become bonus show material here, But was it Nick? Oh, he's got his list. I think Nick got a few there.
That was the international sign for I have a list by holding up his laptop. Is that what that was?
That was the international sign of I've got some from the chat room that you wanted. That
okay. Let's do that. Let me get one in real quick. And this is gonna be a quick one, and this is a shout out too, because I'm not sure if we put this bonus show out there free or not. We may have, but shout out to Luis Bueno, Sideline Views. We talked about it a lot on that podcast bonus show that we did, and I think we did put that one out, didn't we? On the main feed.
I believe Luis's show did go out in the main.
If not, I'm sure we'll release it at some point. But Sideline Views was huge for me, just from a local aspect and seeing people do it. But Nick, what do we got from the chat room?
Yeah, this one came from YouTube. He says, Seth McComber says, loved the offside rules. Yeah. BD Smokey says, best soccer show. Shaden also saying, big soccer boards. I would never be here if it wasn't for SiriusXM, FC and Soccer. I'm pretty sure that was Jim from Philly.
Hold on, let me give. I never do this, and I've had this on the board forever. I feel like that's a good place to use that drop. Go ahead.
Seth on YouTube also says, remember the original Extra Time Radio with Shep Messing?
No.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
You remember that? Okay.
Yes. And who was this? There's a second host with him, and I can't remember who it was now. Was it JD Della Camera? No, it wasn't JD Della Camera.
JP Della Camera.
No, it was Simon Borg, wasn't it?
Might have been Simon Borg. Simon Borg did ETR for a long time. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Holden on Twitch says MLSnet.com.
MLSnet.com.
That's what it was.
That's what I was trying to tell you. Like, there's a soccer in there. It's like, there was no soccer. It was MLSnet.com, which was wild.
MLS Soccer is kind of wild, too.
Seth is chiming in on Twitch saying he believes it was Jason Sagini, not Simon Borg.
Okay, Jason Sagini.
Okay. Yeah, but the reason MLS Soccer is ridiculous because it's MLSsoccer.net.
Yes, right. I mean, back in the early days of MLS pumping out editorial content, it was Sagini, it was Borg, it was Greg Lawless.
Nick Furshaw.
Nick Furshaw was there. A couple other people were there. Yep.
We got a few more here. Seth saying, or I'm sorry, it was BD Smokey, 101 great goals VHS tape.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. That might have made it somewhere on this list because in the era of YouTube being in its infancy, and people had to manually kind of upload the actual file and find links to it and stuff like that. I watched many a Claudio Reyna highlight, a DeMarcus Beasley highlight, where I couldn't find PSV Eindhoven, Beasley kind of stuff. 101 great goals was essential. McBride and Early Dempsey, that's where you would get all those kind of that information. Shout out to and No Frills website, literally just text link, and every once in a while they started embedding at a certain point.
Yeah. I mean, that makes me think about trying to, and I don't know that this counts in your categories, Jared, but looking for illegal streams of games when I didn't have them on my television. Was it
Tarjeta Roja?
Roja Directa.
Soccer on TV. There was a site called Soccer on TV, right?
Live Soccer TV, I think was one.
No. Just Soccer on TV was just a list of where you could find it on TV.
Yeah. There was a bunch of stuff like that. Do you want to go back? Because I might have one.
Yeah. Oh, you got one. I got plenty, but you got one.
Okay. Well, I got a couple. I'm gonna shout out, and I think this is maybe the second reference in a couple of weeks here. I'm gonna shout out Winning Ugly and that show that kind of brought you and me together in the same universe, Jared. Which
for sure, no one else was doing that in America.
No.
The soccer comedy kind of stuff.
It was, for anybody who doesn't know Winning Ugly, it was a podcast back when those were still pretty new. Scott Bornstein out of Dallas at the time. I guess he moved on, but him and Zach Woosley and Brian, what's his last
back
name?
in the day? Brian? Oh, yeah. Brian
Bentley. Brian Bentley. Yep. Thank you very much. Double B.
Sorry.
Mark Fishkin. There was Sarah.
A lot of people that use, Holberg.
So lots of people who were in that Dallas area put together a show. It was basically just, a premise, and then the Scott as the host would give a premise, and everybody would have to come up with their kind of comedy response, their funny soccer response to it. So, I mean, I would listen to a show like that right now if somebody wanted to put out something like that, Jared.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's missing. There's so much. Well, they ran this formation and got this result, kind of soccer stuff out there where it's just like, dude, talk about someone's hairline, please. Talk about just say something funny. There's funny things happening out there right now. And it's being missed. It's not there. Soccer AM does a decent version of that in England. Other countries are doing this type of stuff where they put personality and humor out there. And we just don't really do it that much, man.
I mean,
Shout out on mine. Okay. This is a different take. Okay. And this is a super throwback as well, but Eurosport catalogs.
Oh yeah, sure. Absolutely. Eurosport.
I just blew Nick's mind with that one. But Eurosport catalogs were a life preserver in a desert. I know you don't need a life preserver in a desert, but that's the way it felt.
Well,
in a desert of soccer, you would see things that you would never see in a store. Like, holy crap, Mizuno makes cleats.
I think at one point you and I had this discussion. Maybe it was on a Slop Culture, maybe it was somewhere else. But I think we talked about Eurosport, and you talked about being able to get that saucy European gear that
I
nobody
can never afford it, man. But you look at Hummel, it's like, oh my god, that Hummel stuff looks so sweet, and but I couldn't afford it, and I couldn't pay the shipping and handling as an 18-year-old kid,
Yeah, with all of the Kappa stuff and
Lotto
was definitely one of them.
Diadora was big back in the day too.
100% Diadora.
Diadora's still making good stuff right now, but people, it doesn't sell in the U.S. I just saw what's my dude at Soccer Cleats 101? Brian. Yeah, Brian. So Brian was put out just here because no one buys Diadora, and they're still making some of the best boots out there. No one in America buys them. And it's ridiculous. So if you're looking at Eurosport catalogs, were huge.
That's just, by the way, isn't Eurosport just soccer.com now?
Well, it was SoccerNet, I think. I think that's who had SoccerNet originally was Eurosport.
Okay. But they're soccer.com now. I think that's what.
Soccer.com.
Yeah. By the way, and I played soccer as a kid and then sort of lost the sport for a while, but the
catalog kept coming.
I had Eurosport was definitely in my universe, but when I was a kid, East Bay was where I went. East Bay was my catalog back in.
I never had that.
That was like a baseball kid thing.
I didn't even know what that was.
Lots of baseball stuff.
I've got two other, and they're different kind of media than we've discussed so far.
Okay.
One is Pelota. I loved that documentary when it came out.
Oh, the Pelota. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The street football documentary put out there. Maybe was that 5-6 years ago now? Maybe more than that. I'm not sure.
Wasn't it around the Brazil World Cup? What isn't the whole thing about getting to Brazil?
I thought it was South of Africa because they went to South Africa and they were building the stadium and they played with the construction guys at the stadium. So God, that would be what then? 2014? No,
2010 was the World Cup in South Africa. Yeah.
I mean, they were filming then. The movie probably came out a few years ago.
Okay. I want to get to
Oxenham.
I have a feeling I have a feeling that I'm gonna step. I mean, I thought I was gonna step on your toes.
I only have one left.
You only have one. Well, maybe is it a documentary?
It is. Yeah.
It is a documentary.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Well, then you go ahead because I don't want to step on your toes if this is.
This was actually what I was trying to find the other day, and I couldn't find it. Is my Our Way DVD.
That's what I figured it was going to be. Was going to be Our Way. Yeah. Which you definitely have
Still my favorite.
a deep connection to because you reference that thing all the time.
It was never. It was nothing else was out there like it. Where you didn't get behind the scenes footage of soccer players back then. You know, you didn't get to see Pablo Mastroeni singing Bob Marley on an acoustic guitar or Frankie Haydock talking about keeping your elbows up to land a non-event.
I just want to say, Pablo, why did you have to be so obvious with your choices? Wearing the dreads, singing Bob Marley. Go ahead.
It was an amazing insight at a time where you got so little, you know, where now we're used to seeing behind the scenes stuff and everything like that, but you really got to, and the players were less guarded too when the cameras were up.
Right.
You really got to see more of who they actually were.
Nobody. What's interesting when you watch, and it's been years since I've seen it, but what's interesting when you watch it is that none of those guys has anything approaching a celebrity kind of feel about them. They don't think of themselves as celebrities. They're just soccer players. America's had Maybe Alexi
just came off a terrible World Cup too, where everyone got humble.
Right. But Alexi in the 90s was maybe the only celebrity soccer player we've ever had at that point. And that was partly because he was a musician and he had the hair as good a player as he was. And then Landon comes along. And Landon in that team, they were hyping it up. I'm not saying he was Michael Jordan, but he was big enough at a time when soccer didn't have any heat that the rest of those guys were always kind of side-eyeing Landon.
Plus he had Tiger Beat skills.
He did. He also had the lovable kid thing going on, which was interesting. Yeah. I'm
interested to see, Nick, did you get anything? You got anything that you wanted to throw in there?
Yeah, I've got a couple here on my list. You know, there's been obviously, I don't want to sound like I'm kissing up here, but Soccer Morning was big for me.
Oh, you're not even getting a check, dude. Come on.
I know.
What?
Well, Soccer Morning was a gateway because it led me to Best Soccer Show.
Yes, Soccer Morning. Soccer Morning is the gateway, and then this show is day drinking. That's how the dynamic works. This is, by the way, shout out to football fan 05.
Yeah, and here's a football fan 05. He said this on and no picture. He's got no picture, 0 followers. I want to accomplish one thing. We are going to get that guy his first follower tonight.
There it is.
He coined something you and I love so much: the day drinking of soccer podcast.
I mean, what could be better than that? Like what? I feel like that.
Crack one open.
You know how you did that. You know, you're day drinking at the winery these days, Jared, because you're a refined gentleman of means.
Of times.
Back in the day, you were at a concert, maybe you went out to a tailgate, and you just get that kind of toasty.
You had to have a Midori sour by the pool.
Yeah, I mean, lots of ways to get there, but when you got there, it was just kind of this like glow, like it was very comfortable.
So, football, FUTBOL 5. I want to see who can be the first JD and the Rod listener to follow him, and we'll get a shout out to that person. And because my man needs a couple followers, I checked. I don't think he's a bot, and I don't think he said anything super Nazi-ish. So I think we're good to go.
Yeah, it's apparently all the tweets are very odd. They have numbers and like voice something or whatever you say.
We either just made this dude's day or have terrified him. It's going to get deleted.
But it does accurately depict the show. Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, I got one other one here. When I was a kid, I want to say it was probably the Christmas after the World Cup was here in the United States back in '94. So this would have been probably Christmas '94. If I do my math correctly.
This is just shortly after Nick had his experience with Boys to Men, TLC, and MC Hammer. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
So for Christmas that year, I got, as a gift from my parents, I got a VHS tape of the best goals from the '94 World Cup.
Okay.
And I replayed that over and over and over. I loved watching that.
That's a good one.
Oh, man, I may give the wrong Twitter name.
Oh, you serious?
Hold on.
You have to double check these things. We have a reputation to maintain.
What did I say? What did I say?
The day drinking of soccer.
No, what did I say was the name?
FUTBOL fan 05.
I'm good. All right. There was a second. There was a moment where I thought maybe I did the wrong thing, and some other dude with 0 followers is about to get a bunch. He has a follower. Hold on. He has a follower.
Let's see who it is.
Follower now.
Drum roll. Do I have a drum roll? I don't have a drum roll.
At Judge Reed, you've done the Lord's work today, sir.
Yeah, yes, there it is, right there. Thank you
A
very
Philly
much.
fan.
A bestie doing it. Jimmy Reed called in the show, followed our guy on Twitter. He's doing everything. That Jimmy Reed. All right, I don't know if I'm going to get to 5 because I don't know how much time we have left, and I know you have. You did all of yours.
Here's another one from Twitter, just real quick. He has. I remember Fox Football Phone and being a fan of that for their co-host.
Remember when Waldo hosted that?
Completely nuts over Hillsborough, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Stephen Cohen had his moment back then.
No, but that's another lifeline for a lot of people, man.
Sure.
Fox Football Phone was huge.
World Football Weekly or World Football Daily or whenever you interacted with that first, that was a thing. That was my gateway. Just there's a little origin story and kind of relates to some of this stuff because I mentioned Winning Ugly. My gateway was World Football Daily, and then CSRN and some of the stuff around the league, which you were on, Jared, that they were doing back then. I was going to say blog wise, Unprofessional Foul is one of the ones that I would go to. They didn't do a ton of MLS, but I was on that blog all the time. Avoiding the Drop is another back in the day blog that nobody probably remembers.
I like the counterculture ones. Like I remember following like Logan's Revenge.
I don't remember that one.
Not Doug Lyman. Like people writing stuff under the name Not Doug Lyman. Like there was like the counterculture stuff even back then.
Yeah, there were some. I'm trying to think of some team specific blogs that I was into.
Massive Report.
Massive Report, yeah, Massive Report is a good one. I do like recognizing the team blogs that existed pre SB Nation and then got kind of swooped up by the SB Nation.
Match Hip USA.
Match what?
Oh, sorry.
What are you doing to me? Don't mention my blog. Don't. That's a zombie out there somewhere.
Yeah, I want someone. Oh God, I would love there to be a fictitious Twitter account that does nothing but goes to the Wayback Machine and does out of context like blurbs of Jason Davis's writing from 2005 and 6.
Come on, that's not nice. I mean,
just hard takes that never pound out. Like, so this Duke kid's gonna be hot.
Is this gonna be? Oh man, I was so smart back then. I knew everything. Is this gonna be better or worse than Jared Dubois' quote? Jay Rodia's quotes out of context, which I don't think is active at this point.
It is not. No, it is out there still. At least as of about 5 months ago, because I went and looked at it.
You did.
I can't remember what it was called though. Was it not Jay Rodius or something like that? I can't remember what
something like that. I thought it was just Jay Rodius quotes is what I thought it was.
Oh, that might be it. Yeah, and I'm still not positive if that wasn't Trevor just pimping me out.
It's possible. Who knows? It could have been some like guerrilla marketing that we don't know about. All right. Before we get out of here, and we've talked about this idea of MLS and Liga MX getting together. That might happen if and when soccer returns. But Jared, we know that Major League Soccer is definitely not returning until mid-June at the earliest. MLS putting the June 8th date as the new at least not until then, although we don't know at all.
Part of me wanted to do June 9th.
Is there anything to say about this at this point? I mean, I'm tracking, the Eredivisie says it's not happening until September, for them. Italy wants to play, but they don't know when they're going to be able to play.
I think it's hard to base off of Euro leagues because they don't have the burden of should have being open in the coming months. Like none of those European teams were expected to be playing games in the summer.
No, but they have this pressure of finishing the season they had to stop, and that's killing everybody because there's relegation and promotion and money and Champions League spots on the line.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. I kind of feel like you take the top 4 teams in every league, and you should get the amount of goal lead. Somehow there should be a factor, like how many points ahead you were is X amount of goals ahead in a 2-game series.
Okay.
No, it has to be weighted somehow, right? Like, if you're not going to actually finish the season, how many teams how many games were left in the English Premier League season? 6, 7?
Yeah, something like that. I don't have the number in front of me.
Are you really going to play 2 months of fixtures? I don't know, because you have to have a preseason to get them all ready again.
Yeah. No, this is obviously the problem, and I
mean, you should get a point per goal.
Here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting idea that I saw come up today. The president of Lyon, Jean-Michel Aulas, Jean-Michel Aulas, suggested that the French league come back at the end of this year to finish out the current campaign. So September, October, something like that.
Okay.
And then from there, they go into a calendar year schedule starting in 2021 for a couple of reasons. One, they would just naturally be ready to start a new season in
So
January.
you just do another little mini off season for like November, December,
Exactly, a la MLS, a la American soccer,
and
and
stay
then,
that way.
then he's suggesting they stay that way because what happens in 2022, Jared?
You got the Qatar World Cup in
The
in
Winter World
winter.
Cup. Exactly. So right there, you're kind of lining yourself up.
Yeah, that's actually kind of smart. And then maybe coming out of that World Cup year, you can get back on the old schedule if you weren't having success with the new one.
If the fans aren't taking to your new schedule, if you've got some issues, whatever, the television.
Are the English really going to give up Boxing Day?
Well, this is just the French, and I don't know the English are ever going to do anything the French tell them to do. So I don't know that that's going to happen. But UEFA is a part of this too, and UEFA is basically telling everybody you have to finish your current season, or you might not have Europa and Champions League spots next year.
Yeah,
Which
but
is
what if everyone just said
wildly
and then
irresponsible. Yeah, they should. They all should just say "F you," get out of here, like whatever, Fafa Napoli, and move on.
This is what you get for screwing with the last two World Cups.
I mean, that's not UEFA. That's FIFA.
Platini was involved.
Platini, he was definitely involved. All right. So June 8th, whatever. What was this rumor? And this is where we're at now. Nick, what was this rumor? You can fill us in because I don't know that I have the details, and Jared doesn't seem to know anything. A rumor about a different format for MLS when it comes back.
Yeah, so Don Garber was on Taylor Twellman's show, I want to say last week.
That's right.
And kind of hinted at there being some sort of tournament format amongst the Major League Soccer teams. I don't know if it would be in place of a regular season, but it almost sounded more like it could be a preseason event to try to get the teams back into match fitness, something along those lines.
Yeah, here's my issue with the tournament format. As teams drop out, their off season is huge.
Well, yeah, I mean, you obviously have to. There has to that you can't. I don't think it's supposed to be like a tournament format. Like we start with 24 teams and we work our way down to a champion. I think it's going to be like groups. They're going to do World Cup,
like a World Cup. Yeah, exactly.
They're going to do groups, and everybody plays each other in the group, and then the top two teams go into the knockout rounds. But they keep that going long enough to kind of replicate the end of the regular season the way it would have happened if we didn't have COVID. I don't know. It's everything's weird and wild and all.
Corona Cup.
Everything is like I designed it when I was 12 and I was coming up with imaginary soccer leagues, Jared. That's what this is like.
Yeah.
That person might have a better idea than most of us right now because no one seems to know a good way to solve all this.
Yeah, if anybody knows a 12-year-old, to send their ideas to us and we'll take
the only thing that makes sense to me is giving Liverpool the championship. No one's going to catch them.
I think so too, but that's, who knows? And nobody, I know.
And listen, give Sporting Kansas City the title. They looked great for the first 2 weeks.
They looked fantastic. Alan Pulido, Golden Boot winner, right? No,
I called it. That was my preseason prediction.
Actually, he did. He's not going to win it. I think right now, it's Maxi Arudi leading the league.
Gross.
I think it's Maxi Arudi in Montreal who's leading. All right, man. Anything else pressing right here? Anything else? I mean, we got any other media we want to?
Anything pressing in the world of sports these days?
I
mean, we could talk about Brady going to Tampa Bay if you want. Yeah.
You talk about Gronk? No, we don't talk
God.
about Gronk.
Did you watch the Jordan?
By the
doc?
way,
I did
not see it yet. Where can I find it online right now? Like just
It's
go
on
to
ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus? Okay, all right, I got that. So yeah, I do want to watch it though because that hits right in the middle of my most rabid NBA time period of my life.
Before we go, I do want to shout out one more person. Actually, it's an account. I don't know who actually was in control of the account when they sent me the tweet, but I got a message from The Yanks Are Coming, which is a fine blog, by the way, that goes back 10 years.
Yes.
Those guys have been around for a long time. Neil and John and okay. Yeah. So they sent me a message on Twitter and said, this is a tweet they had the other day. Would love to see a network broadcast every match of the 2002 World Cup run in order, and also do the 2015 Women's World Cup. So
the whole tournament.
Like if you have the space, like, and they're obviously suggesting network because it feels like linear television, and you can schedule around it rather than this on-demand thing. And I know U.S. Soccer is broadcasting classic games, and MLS is broadcasting MLS Rewind with Bill Hamid apparently on everything, which is great. But I think that's interesting because it's experiencing that tournament or any World Cup, Jared, is about the progression. It's about that opening game and getting excited and not knowing what's going to happen and setting the tone, and then group stage, and by the third,
I've
group stage-
forgotten about enough about the 2002 World Cup outside the U.S. that it would be some of the results would be a surprise for me.
Well, I think they they obviously mean the U.S. play the U.S. games, but in terms of trying to follow the
I'm
context,
talking about play the whole cup.
well, how many
That's the whole
games? Is
cup.
that? What's
Once again, there's nothing but time right now.
you have a 10-part Jordan documentary you got to
Pick
drop
a
on
World
every-
Cup and write the whole and just show the whole thing over a couple days.
I just don't know if we're ready for Jack Edwards to be back on network television calling
I don't.
soccer.
Here's the thing about picking the 2002 World Cup.
Yeah,
I almost feel you can't go pre 2010 because the quality of the picture is so hard to go
Oh, no,
back
it's
and watch
bad.
non HD stuff.
oh my God, it's so bad. I mean, we were obviously watching that skills challenge. I've seen some people doing some content around. It's just, what did we do before HD? I mean, I know HD televisions are not designed for standard def broadcast, so it looks worse than it actually did when we watched it on our CRTs, Jared. But man, it was terrible.
It's rough, man. It's a tough thing to go back and watch. So here's a question for you. Maybe we can answer this on the bonus show.
Okay.
If there was one American soccer player you would want to have a Jordan-like documentary done about, who would it be?
10 parts, like all of that. I have my answer.
I don't know if it had to be 10 parts, but if there was just a really big, in-depth
Yeah, I have my answer.
one. Oh wait. Do you give?
No, I'm
do
not giving it to you.
bonus
I'm
show?
just- There's only one choice for me. And I think
Okay.
people who know me wouldn't be surprised by my choice. But yeah, okay. I got it. Yeah, we could talk about that for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right
All
on.
right.
If
All
you're
right,
if you're not a Patreon member, get on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You can get that bonus show.
Patreon.com/JD and the Rod. If you want to join up and support us and get access to the bonus shows and get access to the Slack where all kinds of crazy nonsense is happening. People are posting pictures of goods they're buying on Amazon. I really don't know what's happening over there right now.
We're all crazy.
Jared will occasionally tell stories or
I might shave my head this weekend, just so you know.
sex tips. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about with hair. So not just your boxiness. You're reminding me of.
You're not talking about my hips, are you?
You're reminding me of like, it wasn't there a Batman, a cartoon version of Batman where like the chief of police or somebody had like the boxed out hair and then it was like,
Oh, you're talking about Batman the animated series.
yeah. Wasn't there like gray streaks on the
Yeah,
side?
it was everything in there had chiseled chins and kind of a boxy kind of.
Yeah. I feel
top.
like you're very Batman animated series right now.
His hair was also gray. So what are you trying to say?
I'm saying you're moving in that direction because it looks
That's
right now
one of the reasons I'm scared to shave my head.
with the light. It kind of feels
There's
like
no way I come back as dark as I am now because anything that has become gray in the last week is still brown for this long. You know,
I'm with you.
and if I shave it,
But
I
this
might
is
be Steve Carelling it next week.
this is my proposal. Okay, you and I are both like at elevated levels right now,
Yes.
and I know everybody is getting their hair cut. Everybody's having people do their hair at home. I'm saying we commit to just letting it grow out and see what. Like we can style it as much as you want, but I'm saying we commit
But the
to going big.
sides,
Going big, Jared.
the
Let the
sides,
wings-
though, dude,
let
I have
the
to go to
wings
work still, dude. I have to
go.
go to Zoom calls. I can't be in my pajamas like everyone else.
No, but you can gel it back. You can
I
make
have
it
to
work.
lead it. Oh, I'm got to Pat Riley it now.
Whatever you need to do, man. That was my grandfather's move, by the way. Silver hair, straight back.
By the way,
Talk to
Gavin
me.
Newsom is the new Pat Riley,
I don't know. Okay.
the California governor. If anyone knows that, like he's rocking that Pat Riley look.
All right. Patreon.com/JD and the Rod. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. No, not Facebook. We should do. We are really not that
I
big.
don't
On,
even own a Facebook account anymore. It's such
I
it's
have one.
like Moss Eisley Cantina in there, you know.
I don't go there. Instagram. I did get a very nice. Actually, did get a very nice message on Facebook for the show that I probably should mention because people are being nice to us in places and saying that they're glad we're back. So I should probably say that. I don't know if I can find it on short notice here.
Did they send nudes?
No, it was just a guy
Oh.
saying that he missed the show. He was glad that we were
Did
back.
he send nudes?
It's always great when
I'm not
people.
opposed to a male nude.
I don't know what you're talking. What are you talking about right
Here's
now?
the thing: if you're a dude and you're gonna be the type of dude that sends a pic like that, and you shouldn't be ever, but it says something about your stature if you're taking it with the phone sideways instead of straight up and down.
I don't. You can't see. This is the thing about it. We are 10 minutes past an hour.
Well, you could cut it then.
I'm trying to find a way to get us to the exit so we can do a bonus show for the besties. I'm trying to tell people about Patreon.
I'm just
trying to
saying.
tell
I
people
think you'll
about
get a
social.
better enhancement.
I think think you're trying to distract from the gray. Is what I think's happening right now. Like I think you're trying.
top?
To get...
Or in my pick?
I don't know. I don't know what's. I don't want to know. I don't want to know any of that. Okay. Patreon.
What's the Facebook comment?
I couldn't find it because you distracted me. It was literally just somebody saying.
Fault.
It was somebody saying that they were glad that we were doing the best soccer show.
Not anymore.
No.
Just nullified that one. That was a nice lady who sent us a comment. She didn't want
Nobody bought a ticket for this show not knowing what was bound to happen. Okay, everybody
That's
who's
right.
here
you get what you deserve.
knew what they were gonna get on this show. All right, I'm gonna get us gone. I'm gonna get us gone.
All right.
Thanks to Nikki Soup and Sausage, Mr. Dubois. All right, guys. Anything else before? Well, really, seriously, before I go. Okay.
See you on the bonus.
Okay, guys. We'll talk to you guys very, very soon. See you then. Bye.
Worst.
Can't do it. You got me all flustered over here. I gotta hit the right buttons.
Danger Zone!
The horror show! The horror show!
What are we doing?
How did I spend that much money?
What? We just become best friends. Just become best friends.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Duh and or hello.
Damn, dog, that's inapproach. Damn, dog, that's inapproach.
Nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. You got to coordinate.
Damn, dog. Danger Zone!
Duh and or hello.
Jay Rodius.